Welcome to the Algarve. Oh, hi. Hi, I'm Alice.
I'm Rob.
That's for those of you who don't yet know us. I mean, my friends know me. Do your friends know you?
Yeah,
Oh, great. Good.
I'm the one on the left. Am I on the left? Yeah.
Whatever.
We thought we'd update you on, those of you who don't know both of us, a bit of the story about how we met. But it's going to be from my point of view, and then Alice might correct details which she might remember slightly differently / wrongly. So we first met through the website Christian Connection, and I decided to just try out for a month to see what happened, and not really being particularly hopeful about it. And then on my
What a downer. It's fair. Like, I was on Christian Connection for a while. Disaster.
anyway, so I came across Alice's profile and I was like, this girl looks nice. And then read the profile and I was like, what? We've got so much in common. And I really want to, chat to her and get to know her. So
I didn't actually have a subscription at this point.
Yeah.
So
but
he couldn't actually. He could speak to me, but I couldn't speak to him.
So I sent her some message, a very witty message about being a chef and a personal trainer, and how that.
He likes to think it was witty. It was.
It's probably
I read it and I thought
eye-rolly.
potentially a bit of a moron, maybe. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Thanks. So then, but it happened. It was at the end of my month that I decided to be on there. So I was like, "Oh, hi! I'm leaving the country, and I'm also leaving this website. But here's my number if you want to carry on chatting."
Meanwhile, I had looked at his profile because he'd waved at me because he couldn't do anything else because I didn't have a subscription. And he'd waved at me, and I looked at his profile, saw his picture, read about his life and his journey, and just bits and pieces that he put in there, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is a complete catch. And I bought a subscription, a whole month's worth of subscription. And then I forgot to cancel my subscription at the end of that first month. So I paid for 2.
I'm well worth 2 months worth.
So worth it.
Anyway, I wasn't just
£50.
Yeah, I wasn't just leaving the website. I was also leaving the country. So I was like, oh, by the way, I'm also going to Germany and Chile, which was part of the training for my next job, which we'll come to later.
Yeah. I was a bit confused by this because I was just like, oh my gosh, it's someone who's quite exciting on Christian Connection, and what is he talking about? He's going on holiday. Little did I know that actually he was preparing to go away for 2 years.
Yeah.
Tell them about that, babe.
So I was the part of the reason for going to Germany and Chile was part of the preparation for becoming the doctor on board the Logos Hope, which is a mission ship with Operation Mobilisation.
What does it do?
It goes from port to port, handing out Christian resources and literature, and doing different outreach projects with churches and schools and orphanages and charities locally.
It's like community development, isn't it?
Yeah. And like investing in what's already there, so you're not just going and leaving, but going and investing so that the local churches there can carry things on when you move on.
So they have people on the ground?
They have a kind of preparation team going before you, about 6 months beforehand, making connections with local churches and asking them what we can do. Because there's 400 of us on board, so they basically say, right, we've got a team of 400 people who can come and help out in whatever projects or initiatives you're involved in at the moment. How can we help you in what you're doing?
And the amazing thing is that these guys have been operating since, when did they start?
In the 70s?
Operation Mobilisation started in the 70s, so they've been building relationships with different ports that they've been going to for years and years and years.
Yeah.
So it's not like a really short-term programme, it's over many years they've been building these relationships, and they really know what they're going into every time they go in.
And in order to sail, they need the two kind of vital positions on the ship are the captain and the doctor. So they need a doctor in order to sail.
I love that. Captain. Oh, and a doctor.
Yeah.
So he's quite important.
For health and safety.
I picked a good one. Because importance is paramount. Anyway.
Alright, go back to the story.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, we met. So we chatted for about 5 weeks.
Yeah, and then we bonded over kind of quotes of films and quite obscure films, and I'd quote stuff, and Alice would go, "Oh, is that from this film?" I'm like, "Oh, yeah."
Or I'd give him the next line. He was like, "What?
Oh, you know it.
Who is this girl who knows these things?"
And then, so we said, "Oh, we should watch this film," which was Nacho Libre. We both quoted Nacho Libre.
Classic.
Yeah.
If you've not seen it, Jack Black. That is classic.
And so we were going to meet up and watch the film and have Mexican food. And I thought, great, a trained chef is going to cook for me. And I'll just turn up and eat this wonderful food. And then I come back to the country, and first of all, she's like, "Oh, I won't be here when you get back. I'm going to go skiing." And so you went off skiing. And then while she was skiing, she broke her hand. So it's like, "Oh,
The scar to prove it.
about cooking for you."
Sorry.
Not going to happen.
One-handed chefing.
Yeah.
It's doable, but I made a fantastic chocolate avocado mousse.
You did, actually.
Let's be fair.
Yeah.
And cocktails.
Yeah.
The essential ingredients: pudding and booze. Forgive me for those of you who might be teetotal. Sorry.
But I said, "Well, if you can't cook, I'll come over and I'll cook." And so I cooked, and we watched the film.
Not only did he cooked me the most incredible Peruvian meal, and my housemate joined us for dinner, and we both were like, we never want this meal to end. It was so good. So I knew that I was safe because he was not going to take advantage of my kitchen prowess.
And why was it? Why did I cook Peruvian food?
He cooked Peruvian food because he was brought up in Peru. His parents were missionaries with Latin link, so he is of good stock. My missionary friends, he is of good stock. He was brought up in Peru.
Yeah.
He went there when he was 8,
And moved back
and
when-
previously from the West Country, so particularly good stock. I live currently in the West Country. For those of you who weren't sure.
She's trying to pretend she's not really northern.
Although I always keep my northern ways intact.
And so I thought I would offer to cook, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then Al came back with, "Oh, it's quite a long way from Salisbury, where I live, to Bristol. Why don't you stay over?"
In a totally appropriate way. Offering also
it was
that he might stay at friends' houses
Yeah,
if he was
exactly.
uncomfortable with sleeping on my sofa.
No, you did say.
This was not this was not untoward.
I think it was like a
I was
quick
being
sequence.
hospitable and generous.
A quick sequence of messages like, "Why don't you come and stay? On my sofa, or with a friend."
No, it was so not like that. I was like, listen, awkward, but these are the options. Anyway,
So I came
after several weird excuses, like I have church the next day, which made me think, maybe he's Seventh-day Adventist.
because it was a
It's
Friday.
not, because it was a Friday that we were going to meet up.
And then an excuse about, "I don't know if I'm playing rugby or not that Saturday."
So lame.
Yeah.
He blatantly wanted to come up and spend a good, decent amount of time, but he was a bit scared. Rightly.
And then, so yeah, I came up, and we had dinner, we watched the film, stayed up, chatted.
Nacho Libre, of course.
Yeah. And had
And
great-
also a terrible Rebel Wilson film that's available on Netflix. Don't watch it.
it's not the worst.
He quite likes it. But you see, between us, he's the romantic. I'm like, get a grip. So,
And so that was
anyway,
our
moving on.
our first date.
Lasted about 27 hours.
Yeah.
That sounds really awkward when we
No,
say that.
that was.
It was
the,
long though.
The second day was like breakfast. And
Yeah,
then the
yeah,
third
yeah,
day was
right.
coffee.
Yeah.
And then, so it wasn't one.
It
day.
went on and on. Anyway, we then saw each other.
It went on. It just dragged on.
Anyway, it was wonderful, and it felt very natural and just right and good.
Yeah.
Well, not right, but it felt, it did feel right. It felt good. And
felt easy.
And it was kind of like you weren't even thinking about like, how does this feel? It was just very, very natural.
And I get those kind of, what if I run out of stuff to say and there's just awkward silences? And
there were none.
There wasn't.
Maybe because you talked all the time.
No,
I'm joking. Well, I just usurped you. Anyway, the point being that we then met up a week later, and we have been dating pretty much since whenever, March, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I think our first date was on March the 1st. So it's been pretty speedy, but the reality is God has been very, very obvious in confirming through friends meeting each other and family meeting each other and just being really like encouraging, affirming, and friends and family are really super important to both of us. So
I can't remember if
thank you.
If it was the first time or after that we prayed together.
We prayed together the second date, like the second time we met up.
And I was like, yes, this is someone I can really pray with and seek God with and grow with.
And it was really cool because I'd been praying that God would bring me someone who I could pray with, and he suggested praying, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so significant. So that was really cool, and just that we could have a laugh about deep stuff and theological stuff, and we had very complex conversations, and also just a lot of light-hearted stuff. He has done a smashing job at bringing out the silly in me, which is brilliant, and I've done, I think, a good job with just
tolerating it.
Yeah. Yes. And loving you. So, yeah. Anyway, long story short, we got engaged on Wednesday. He did well. I was not expecting it.
I thought you meant I did well. I'm a catch.
Oh.
I did do very well.
As did I. We're still filming, so let's not get too carried away. But, and it's also been 12 minutes, so we should probably hurry up. So
no public displays of affection on film?
No. What were we going to say next? You're heading off.
I'm heading off to the ship, and but you knew that before.
I did.
Yeah.
What he's supposed to say is, Alice, what are you going to do?
Oh yeah, what are you going to do, Alice? Well, I'm away.
Well, a lot of people have been asking me, are you going to go with him? I'm like, interesting question. I have a lot of feminist opinions about these things. No, I'm not. I did consider it, but unfortunately there would have been a potentially really, really good opportunity to go to do a role in sort of mentoring and coaching, pastoral oversight, counselling, that kind of thing on the boat. But at the same time, there were opportunities arising in the work that I've been currently or historically doing over the last couple of years in Bristol, working with a ministry school, sort of a bit like a kind of a discipleship school of sorts, but really teaching people how to move in the supernatural and how to engage with the presence of God and see that change, how that changes your life and how it has the power to transform society. So it's essentially a revivalist school. It's a sort of transplant of the material from Bethel Reading, which some of you might know about, and I've been working with that school teaching on identity and intimacy, and I'm going to be working with the second year this next year, which is really focusing on wisdom and how to draw out your God-given purpose and gifts to advance the kingdom in the city of Bristol or wherever students come from, which is predominantly Bristol and the West Country. So I'm going to carry on doing that, and I also work as a bookkeeper for the charity Love Bristol, which you can Google, and I also work as a personal trainer. So,
keeps us busy.
Doing some stuff.
So yeah, does that mean you won't have any time to come and see me? Will I not see you?
You will. Oh. As he knows, I'll be going out to Brazil.
I remembered that prompted question.
Well done. I'm going to go out hopefully to Brazil. The plan is to go out to Brazil in October and then also to Jamaica in February, which I'm really excited about. My family, my mum's side of the family are from Jamaica, and I lived there for 3 years as a missionary with YWAM. So I'm excited to introduce Rob to some of my YWAM friends who are still there,
And I'll take
my
some
family.
of my, I'll take some of my leave while you're
Some of his leave,
7 days.
all of it, 7 days. By the way, he's not paid to do what he's doing. So if you haven't sponsored him already, he's looking to raise £850 every month. Just saying, because he wouldn't, I will. So there we go. But yeah, so that's what we plan, and hopefully we're looking at a wedding sometime next year.
When I get back.
We don't know because it's ages away and we're not even thinking about it. So yeah, we'd love your prayers.
Yeah, we would.
Anything else? What do we love? Encouragement, affirmation,
Yeah.
prophetic words. Come on,
Yeah.
reel them in, send them in, whatever the
Send them
expression is.
on a postcard
On a postcard,
or a Facebook
Thoughts?
post
Yeah.
or whatever.
or any of those things. All of the above. Anyway, we're gonna go now. Go away. We're enjoying our holiday in Portugal. Check this out. Check this out. Yeah. Nice.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.